then I got in trouble because it was against school policy, and they also somehow my hair was against school policy. Yeah, and then I had to get detention because I refused to change into different clothes because they were too big for me. The ones from Lost and Found, and they weren't even mine. So, I get detention for the whole day in Tucson 3 when I was 5. Yeah, I know I said I went to Columbus when I was 6, but apparently it was when I was 5. When my first day was at Columbus. And another reason why I got detention every day is because I reported the abuse to the principal every day and she never believed me. And I reported to the Miss Handler one time, and then I got detention the next day because I reported to Miss Handler by the principal. Because Miss Handler actually believed me. And, yeah, so I believe her name was Miss Berry. She was a bit of a cunt, the principal, Miss Berry. So, I also figured out part of the reason why I had the playground accident, which had class 1, my eye came out and internal bleeding in the brain and concussions, is probably because I had the wrong prescription. That was CVS prescription glasses, and which just made my eyesight worse than it was. And I wore those for like, well, oh my God, I wore those for 2 years before the playground when the playground happened at the age 7. Because I wore them since kindergarten. 2 school years before the playground actually happened. Oh, that's probably might have made my eyesight worse also. So, yeah. And, so also, trying to see if there's anything else I haven't covered. That's new, what I just remembered. I thought it was 2 years, but it was 3 years, unfortunately. So that was no. And I broke my glasses lens, and piece of the lens, it basically shattered, somehow really got really, a piece came in my eye, and then Miss Bear was like calling my name, and she said to her by this other kid that was hiding the playground for 6 hours. That was 6 hours ago. When I fell, she knew about the fell that I had on the playground. Yeah, she didn't bother to check if I was okay, or look for me because she thought I was hiding in the playground. So just called my name repeatedly, I guess, for 6 hours. And by the time I was trying to go home and stuff, and because she's a fucking retard, Miss Berry is, and a cunt. And oh yeah, in 2007 at the age of 9, when I decided to go back to Columbus because I was kind of afraid of getting because I had enough long enough break to from the abuse that Columbus was putting me through. Miss Barry decided to call the cops the second time, which was, well, not like, she said she was going to call the cops if I got a step foot on the property again, which was security. And, so, because she didn't want me to go back to that school. Even though Mom supposedly discussed that this was her of me going back to school before she dropped me off on where the playground was. In the back of the school, although that kind of thing is a little fishy now that I think about it. And said, have a nice day at school. She just said and drove off. And then I was going to guess, I got the police officers escort me to their cruisers, and Miss Handler stopped them from arresting me and brought me home to my mom, and Vinny was kicked. Vinny, remember when I said Vinny was kicked out by Mom? I remember incorrectly. He left Mom because he broke up with her. So. Supposedly, so yeah. But he came back from time to time to visit or to babysit me. Who was Paul? Uncle Paul. During the 7 years when I was living with Mom. And before she could talk she talked some sense to the cops and Miss Barry and gave them shit basically. And Miss Handler did. So, and this was a little after the cops were beating me in the back with the stick and tased me in the back with taser. Because they wanted me to go in their stupid cruiser because I refused to go in their cruiser because I didn't see what I did wrong. Because I didn't do anything wrong. And the whole thing was just a whole misunderstanding, I guess. To my point of view, and Miss Barry was just being a total cunt that day. So I went back home, but got drove by Miss Handler, and that was the last I saw of her. Then Vinny got convinced Mom that to say and try to convince Mom that Miss Handler must have raped me, which she didn't at all, never. This was Vinny finding a way to control things and make matters worse for me and Miss Handler. So this is what she did, and therefore because Miss Mom, because of Vinny. Because Mom would get manipulated very easy. One of those people who get manipulated easy, especially by dickheads like Vinny and Uncle Paul. And they manipulate her a lot, blah, blah, blah. So she decided to friend the principal after giving her a phone call. If she doesn't fire Miss Handler, she'll fire either help her file a restraining order against Miss Handler or fire Miss Handler. And I didn't know what happened next, so yeah. Next thing you know, I get transferred to from Columbus to Lighthouse the same year, and I get a grade whole. I have to repeat first grade again. Even though I only done first grade and second grade, so I got hold back. Just like I got hold back, I had to do kindergarten again at Columbus after I did kindergarten and got abused psychologically by hanging a dumbass cone on my head that said the word dumbass. And it was a cone. that was bigger than my head at the time, and so, and the only reason why I did that is because that happened in the first place. But remember when I said I gave this girl a push because she was the one that was allowed to have strawberry donuts because she was the only girl in the class, and it was her birthday. So no, wait, I think it was. Oh no, it wasn't her birthday. It was It was March 25th. It was my birthday. Oh, that's why I was so mad. So I didn't every boy got a vanilla donut, and I was one of the boys. So, and she was the only girl in class, and so she gets the strawberry donut, even though every boy wanted the strawberry donut because they were jealous of her. So I asked her if she would share strawberry donut, and she says no. Was this big smug on her face, and she was being smug about it, so I pushed her and stole the donut from her. And licked all the frosting off. Then I had to wear the dumbass clone for pretty much the first 6 weeks of kindergarten. Which, I mean, not the first 6 weeks of kindergarten, the last 6 weeks of kindergarten, and the regular classroom. Then I got transferred to a special needs classroom in the same school, which was the Dover school in Dover. And that's when they started treating me. That's when I started making friends, having done tons of fun memories, and yeah. That didn't happen until the end of the year. When is March? I think March is at the end of the year or the beginning, a middle. Is that the middle? Is it in middle school years or beginning of school years? I can't remember. It was so. Yeah. So I was in kindergarten in a regular class for most of my school year, and before that, because I was bad at nap time, I had to take a time out and while wearing the dumbass cone that said dumbass on it. It was bigger than my head, and for every week, every day of the week, then the weekend comes. And I just take a break from it from 2 days. Yay, 2 full days of being free from the dumbass cone. Then my birthday comes, and then I have wear the dumbass cone for the last 6 weeks straight because I refused to apologize to the person. Yeah, I kind of pointed out how the teachers will know better than me because that's not as right as they think they are. And one time, the teachers before that day, on March 25th, he stole my VHS of Pink Floyd's The Wall after I brought it to show and tell. To show people and how it was important to me and talk about how important it was to me. And then they didn't really consider that real show and tell thing because someone else already did it. How was I supposed to know? Before I got in the classroom, so it ended up getting stolen from me. And months later, the therapist stole it back from me. Only until later in 2003, it gets thrown away by Vinny, along with my other movie collections and my music and comic and book collections, and my toy collections, some of my toys, and old clothes and costumes and everything I hold nostalgic to me. all happened on one day, supposedly, overnight. But Dad figured out that he hit it on me, and there's no way he could have sold it overnight. And a good chunk of it, a chunk of it, it's because he hit it on me overnight, and he said he sold it. That stuff that was missing in my room, and I was living sharing the same room with Agent then, so it was also his stuff too. And then the rest of the next day, he decided to throw what little I had left while Mom restrained me on the cement, exactly how Lighthouse did. Exactly how the Dover School did. On my birthday, in March 25th in kindergarten, that's when I got my first restraint ever, exactly how Lighthouse restrained me. Which is exactly how Mom restrained me when our stuff was getting thrown away on me. My stuff. By Paul, Vinny, and Rico. And Paul. I meant to say Rico. And when I say Paul, I meant Uncle Paul. Every time I said Paul in this video. Or videos by now. Was more than one. Rico, for a period of time, when pretty much the entire time when we were in the rest of the second Dover house, he would throw me and H down the stairs every weekday and every weekend, along with Paul, Uncle Paul, and Vinny sometimes. They would do all three of them together, would throw us all three down to the stairs against our will and lock us in the basement. Just like the years before, when Uncle Paul and Vinny did it, just the two of them, for 5 years before I started living with Mom. So, and most of the times it was Enrico, sometimes still all by himself, for us down the stairs, me and AJ, because we were kids. So I was 5 at the time and AJ was 7 because he's 2 years older than me. The rest of the time when we were in the second Dover house. Yeah. Remember the kettle thing? I forgot to, was one mention. Two things I forgot to mention. The whole me getting my bang on the head by a kettle getting my head banged on the hot kettle several times, and the hot toaster when I was toasting stuff from AJ. AJ was locked in the basement. I was either 3 or 2. It was when I was on Tegretol. Before I went on a debit card for my years. So, yeah, then we got thrown in this room upstairs, and we watched movies up there because we didn't have anything else to do but to watch movies or TV shows. And Vinny and Paul locked us in that room every day of every weekday for 5 years straight. And it stopped when I was 5 because that's when they stopped babysitting us, and me and AJ and Uncle Paul and Vinny. Just them only ever babysat us, no one else. And meanwhile, Mom those days locked herself in her room and supposedly was sleeping throughout the day. The first 5 years of my life before I started living with Mom for 7 years. And that is all the stuff. Trauma I remembered. I really believe that's the rest. Some of the stuff is new. Most of the stuff is. This two of the stuff is new that I told you. The stuff I told you that's new. The rest of the stuff I only told Dad. Yeah. Hi Dad, if you're watching this, I talk more about my trauma today. Hope you're taking notes. I'm writing down on your computer and emailing this to everyone about what I remember, the two details I remember, memories and these memories. Oh, I forgot one more memory. I told the 280 bus drivers that stopped driving at the age of 14 in 2011 all of my trauma that was on my head that I could remember, which was a little bit of a limited amount, but it's still a good chunk. Not as much as I told you in this video, but still a good chunk. Then I told Charlie, as he was just going to the police station, really nice guy. I thought he was going to be Vinny, and that's why I stopped running, because I found it was just Charlie, not Vinny. And I explained the whole situation to Charlie, that I just got sick of them picking on me every day and calling me names and saying I'm only a good kid when I shut up and that stuff. So I decided to call them. I decided to say to them, shut up, cunts. And then they called the cops on me, the Medford cops, so because I decided to call them shut up, cunts. Repeatedly, I said that on the top of my lungs. And it wasn't the first time I told them to shut up. Another time I told them to say shut up because I couldn't take any more harassment or abuse that they were putting me through, was just all psychological and calling me names and calling me bad kid because I wouldn't shut up. And they only reward me and call me a good kid and say I'm behaving good when I shut up on the rest of the ride from to school and after school, to home and back, to school and back also. Every day from the 2007 at the age 9, which was the first time, day 1 I went to Lighthouse, till 2011 at the age 14, which was the last time I ever saw those fuckers. I told the Lighthouse the situation, but they didn't believe me, like they mostly didn't believe me anything else I ever said. I told them that the bus drivers basically lying because I wasn't outside, just called them a bunch of cunts. And they said that's, they should see that as a threat, I guess, and unsafe behavior because I said shut up, cunts. And so these are always unsafe behavior because I decided to run from the cops and say I could have gone seriously had the cops didn't found me running away from them. Makes no sense fucking to me with that point of view. And also, well... Oh, one time I threw pumpkin milk at Bob the bus driver. And I stepped out of the vehicle to cool off. Then, his boss, Rachel, decided to lie and manipulate Lighthouse, saying I was unsafe, and I ran away from the bus drivers after assaulting him. And I told them what really happened, but they didn't believe me because they're fucking cunts, the Lighthouse. Yeah, you guys, you're cunts. That's who you think I'm sending this to besides you, Miss Cormier? Lighthouse. Pretty much everyone that ever worked there, including still working there today. Honestly, I don't know why they have an old nun work there. I don't think that's a place for a nun who's supposed to be a person of God or something like that. I think that's what nuns are supposed to be. Aren't they supposed to be like in church, not a school? And we're still wearing the nun costume because Lighthouse is not really a religious place. It's more of abusive, insane asylum, more like that, or yeah, and that's glorified, and because Lydia made a comment of it being a glorified mental institution, which she gets a good point when I think about this after I say this all out loud. That's all. Trauma for now. Let me think. Also, I watched movies with several movies with Vinny for the years, and the most one I watched more than often was Terminator 2, and yeah, it was Terminator 2 Terminator 2 the theatrical cut I watched most of, and that's why. And he kind of ruined Terminator 2 for me and franchise, because I watched Terminator 2 and only Terminator 2 was him, because he wasn't a big fan of the first one or the third one or the extended cut of the sequel, which is, in my opinion, the extended cut is an unrated classic that takes the source material seriously, unlike Terminator 2, the theatrical, which turns it into a straight-up comedy, was the Terminator. While the extended cut is one of Schwarzenegger's best movies of Terminator 2, the Terminator 2 Judgment Day, the theatrical cut, is actually his worst movie, next to Junior. So his second worst movie. Oh, I forgot about something. One time he pulled a gun on me and tell me to apologize to my mother that was paralyzed,